Still don't have an intro. Such is life.
You're
going to have to suffer through it, friends, until we figure it out. Life is a little crazy.
Life is crazy that way. But you know what? One of these days, we're going to have a sponsor that can pay us to pay someone else to create an intro. So we can have something really nice.
Huzzah.
All my mermaids.
Anywho.
Okay, well, I guess we're starting
Yes.
without an intro.
We are starting without an intro.
Okay.
Such is life. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. I'm Abby, and I'm at Mermaid Vlogs. And this is my mer gal pal,
Hi.
Lauren.
Yes, at a soon-to-be created mermaid Instagram.
One day she will have a mermaid Instagram.
You gotta get me in a tail first.
Oh my gosh.
I know. It's embarrassing. I mean, I've only ever been in like a fabric tail as walking around Ariel.
Oh boy. That is not true. You were in a fabric tail in a tub
That's
for a Bath and Body Works promotional video. Thank you very much.
that was actually a great day.
We will link that video in the description.
Please do.
So I posted on Instagram and asked people kind of like what they would want us to like discuss during this podcast. I got quite a few responses.
Yay.
I had someone ask, or a few people ask, to give some advice for people that want to be professional mermaids.
See, you'll have to answer that one because
Yeah.
I am not a professional mermaid.
But you've been a professional fairy.
That's
true. I feel
And a
like
professional princess.
And a princess, yes. So it's helpful. It's all kind of the same. And my big thing is, if you're gonna go and do this and like this is gonna be like your full-time gig, you need to have some sort of business sense. You kind of have to know, taxes. Are you an LLC? Like, are you DBA? Like, how are you going to market yourself? Because to be a professional mermaid, or just a professional, anything, you kind of have to know, how to be self-employed.
Yeah, I was about to say that, I mean, you're an independent contractor.
Yep.
And that comes with its own set of hoops to jump through.
Totally.
Yeah, because I mean, well, when I worked for you, we were independent contractors. So there was a lot of
Yeah. So,
my own taxes that I had to do
yeah.
from that and just be able to set aside money from each paycheck that was going to go to taxes.
Totally.
And that's baseline. That's not even if I'm saving up for something else or
Right. You just,
yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Being self-employed, like, it's great because you can have your own schedule and be able to kind of do your own thing, and that's great and all, but also you do have to put away taxes and, like, deal with, like, some business things that, if you're working for somebody else, that they would take care of, so.
Yeah. Like, I know for me, I'm typically better off with a full-time job that takes care of all of that for me and gets me benefits, and then my fun side is mermaid, princess, ferrying, where it's I there's a little bit on that side that I have to take care of the business sense, but it's not as, oh gosh, this is my whole livelihood.
Totally. So if you're like not down with the whole like self-employed lifestyle, go ahead, have your full-time job, and then on the side, like, go work for a company or go, volunteer or whatever, because it is a lot of work.
Yeah. I mean, just get a feel. And the part-time is a great way to get a feel for it. Great way to get a feel.
Yeah. Just
to
do it
get
on
your
the side.
fins wet, as it were.
Oh, that was a good one.
Thank you.
Yes, girl. Yeah. I think, for me, when I started the Princess Company, just so y'all know, like, what I did with the party company, I had an LLC and then had independent contractors underneath, gave them 1099s. And then, I had to report all that stuff to the tax man. And, you have to set aside like 20%, 25%, whatever it is, for your taxes. And then, make sure your employees know, hey, set aside however much percent you want to for your taxes, because they're gonna want the IRS is gonna ask for it whether you have it or not.
Now, the nice thing too, as an independent contractor, you can file quarterly as opposed to yearly, which is very helpful as a because I mean that's a pretty decent sized amount of cash that you're putting aside if it's your full time job.
Totally.
So if you're doing it quarterly and you're keeping up with it, it's not. It doesn't feel like as much of a blow.
Yeah.
Come tax time.
For sure. And I cannot stress enough, find a good CPA, find a good person. I mean, it took me a few times to find the right person to do our taxes, but I mean, he ended up going back years and figuring out, oh, you didn't do this right. And when I used to drive for Uber, people didn't know what that was. And, so, back in the day, really old guys.
Look at you.
Yeah. But, there were a lot of things that he was able to find because he works with so many self-employed people. And so I cannot stress enough to find a good CPA to help you with your taxes.
I mean, that's probably just good advice in general.
That's true. Just in general. So anyone in the Nashville area, if you need a CPA, you just holla at your girl because I love my CPA. Literally texted him today and I was like, please help me with this. And he's like, got you, girl. It was great.
Because a really good one is worth every penny.
Totally. Yeah. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Whoa. Yes.
Yeah. No, that's the boring side of it.
That's so boring. But I mean, a lot of people who I'm going to be a mermaid and do all these parties.
Yeah.
If you don't do it the right way, it's going to not be very fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's boring, but it's the most, I mean, honestly, it's the most important part.
Yeah.
You've got to have that figured out.
You got to do that. And, of course, I suggest if you're going to do parties and going to be around babies and stuff that are gonna ask questions and stuff, I highly would suggest having your silicone tail as opposed to the fabric tail because it is more realistic. But if the fabric tail is all you can afford, I get it, you start small, but it's easier to make it seem real and magical with those silicone tails.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
they're very realistic and they tend to be a bit more detailed as well.
Definitely. It's just, and when you're standing face to face with a child and they're touching, your scales and stuff, you want them to be like, what? This is real. This is amazing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because your silicone tail is really textured.
Yeah, for sure.
And the fabric one isn't.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love my fabric tails. And they're great for fun, not paid things. I feel like people are paying for a service, so I want to give them the most realistic mermaid possible. But, and also if you're going to be a professional mermaid doing parties and stuff, if you're wearing a wig, make sure that you've got it you've practiced a few times, especially if you're swimming in it. Because that's a biggie.
Oh, yikes. I mean, okay. I don't even know how that would work. Can you do that?
Yeah.
I'm sure there are wigs you can swim in.
But. There's the waterproof stuff that you can put around the rim of your face. And if you have the laced line ones, you pull it up and attach it to the sticky stuff. And then trim it or whatever if it needs to be trimmed. But make sure that thing is secure and because
not from a mermaid perspective, just from a professional performer's perspective, it is embarrassing when your hair starts to show.
Totally.
Especially when you're Elsa.
Oh, it's the worst. But Elsa, come on, man. Her wig is so difficult.
So small.
Why?
It's made for a child.
It's whose head? No, this is for a 5-year-old. I don't know.
Yeah, I think one of the first times I was ever Elsa, I went back to my carriage afterwards and took a look in the mirror and was just mortified. Yeah. I could not believe how much of my own hair was sticking out. And I never did it that same way because you get a rhythm down when you're wearing a wig and there's a system that you have and you have to remember that each wig is different, especially if you're going to something that with because Ariel, for instance, obviously has long, flowing, luscious locks.
Totally.
So you can hide. I mean, she covers up a multitude of sins, that wig.
Sure
Elsa
does.
covers up no sins.
Nothing.
In fact, she exposes sins.
Yes.
And so because it's pulled back in this beautiful braid, and the braids are heavy, so they slide. And I mean, you gotta pin the living daylights out of that wig, man.
Oh my gosh. I just that wig was the wig of nightmares. Just so many nightmares. And just the slightest movement, if it's not on there like it should be, just the slightest movement, you're done.
Yep.
And that's it.
And you just hope and pray.
Yep.
She got it.
Yep. You just gotta let it go.
I did. Oh, no.
So sorry. You gotta put that in there.
You do. There's no escaping it.
Oh, good.
That was great. Oh, that's funny. What? Oh, see, I had something I was going to add to it, and it's all gone now. Anyway,
Well, the bottom line.
Yes.
Make sure all your wigs and your shells especially
Oh my.
is all intact, because especially if you're dealing with kiddos, you want to be secure in all areas, because you just never know.
And again, from a performer's perspective, that's just good sense, because children tend to be touchy-feely.
It's true.
And they tend to be pulley-grabby.
Yes. Pulley-grabby.
Pulley-grabby.
That's a great way to say it.
As a fairy, one of the costume pieces was a corset. And, it wasn't risque. It wasn't popping out of it brassiere-wise. But I was often holding babies. And babies like to pull down. Right. Because they're like, you've got the goods. I don't.
Actually.
So I've had one or two exposing moments.
All right. Well,
Yeah. But then as I've played a mermaid, I have played a mermaid before, not in the water. You get really good at bouncing.
Yes. Yes. No, sudden jumping movements, just, yeah.
Because to get from place to place, you have to hop.
Yes. Yes. It's an interest. The walking tail is a whole nother thing.
It is.
Whole nother thing. But yeah, I think to be a professional mermaid, it takes a few things. You need to have your business stuff set up.
Okay.
Don't just do it. You got to do it right.
Mm-hmm.
And in my opinion, if you're going to get paid to do something, a realistic tail is what you should probably use.
Mm-hmm.
And then keep your stuff secure.
Yeah.
And if you want to have some activities and stuff for the kiddos, keep in mind that, there are, I wouldn't involve candy because kids have allergies and whatever. But, we would do this cool thing with those vase fillers stone things.
Oh, yeah.
We would call them wishing stones, and so they could all become mermaids.
Right.
So they would all get a little stone that, a bag of them is 99 cents or whatever at Walmart. But they'd all get a wishing stone. They'd all have to hold them so close to their heart, and wish, 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 and then they would be a mermaid or a princess or whatever it is. We actually have an original song for the princesses, but that's for another day. But yeah, so fun things like that. Just kind of come up with some things, because they might get bored swimming.
Yes. And another one, you got to have some on-point improv.
For sure.
Because they ask. Gosh. Honestly, it's not the kids that ask weird questions. It's adults, because they're trying to catch you.
Right. Yeah, we discussed this a little bit.
That's
about,
right. That's right.
Catching them, trying to catch you, stump you. And
well, it's usually random ones, you got to be hot in that thing. I'm like,
right.
I didn't realize my body temperature was anything I needed to discuss.
Right. And, the grandpas are the funniest. I think, yes. One grandpa was like, is that your real hair? And I'm like, of course it is. Is that your real hair? Of course he's bald. But I'm like, there are kids around, sir. And of course this is.
Yep.
Oh,
So if you come up with a story beforehand, that's really, really helpful.
Yeah.
If as a fairy, we live hundreds of years. So I just had this random number that I had chosen basically at the beginning, and I wrote it down, and I just said it all the time. And I was like, I think it was like, I'm 436 years old.
That's funny.
Yeah. And that meant I was a baby. Like, it was a brand new fairy.
Yeah. That is so funny.
And so I wrote it down and had it memorized because kids ask me that all the time. Like, how old are you? Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
I'm 436 years old. Why? How old are you?
Yeah. And that's the thing. If you can spin it around and turn it to them and ask them a question, I feel like that's the easiest way to do it.
Yeah. The other one that's a really good entertainment option, especially if you have another activity that is just, because I used to face paint and do balloon animals. Well, oftentimes I would have multiple children up talking to me while I was face painting one child. So a really great improv game is if the party is themed in some way and even a speck about whatever it is, you just start calling the characters by the wrong names. So, for instance, if it was a Frozen themed party, I said, oh, the reindeer, that's Olaf, right? And it's got a chorus of 10 voices going, no! And then they're all shouting answers. And literally that's 5 minutes of my time that I'm not having to come up with something on the fly to entertain them with. They're entertaining themselves.
That's
and
cute.
Like, she's so funny.
Yeah.
And, and you just do that for every single character, and then boom, boom, boom.
Love that.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I've used that on numerous occasions.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. If you can come up, a lot of people call them their mersonas. If you can come up with some, backstory or whatever, and just stay true to that. That's all you gotta do, man.
Yeah, once you have it, it's so much easier to pull those answers out of thin air as opposed to going,
totally.
Bleh.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
And that's my one thing. I just, you gotta keep the magic. You gotta keep them believing. So whatever you gotta do, just do it.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a few other questions. So
hit us with your best shot, Abby.
One of the first ones that is from my friend Grounded Geek 521. He's a super great supporter of Mermaid Vlogs.
Aww.
So he's great. But he asked an interesting question, and I'm just not even sure how to answer this.
Okay.
He asked, can mermaids fight ninjas?
Okay, well, my instinct to answer that is no. Solely because, from what I know of ninjas, I only ever see them fight on land.
Correct.
And I feel like they'd be out of their element in the water.
Yes.
But then at the same time, as I say that out loud, I think, but they have to be super adaptable, don't they? Like, ninjas have to be able to go into any situation and just...
Correct. And you know what? One of, the legends of the mermaids, so they would sing to lure in sailors and then kill them once they got them. So they could lure in a ninja with their singing and just
drown them.
Drown them all up. I don't know. It's a possibility is all I'm saying.
They both have their strengths, as it were. I mean... Sorry, geek friends, but we're going to err on the side of the mermaid.
For sure. Always. I guess mermaids could fight ninjas and they could win.
Yeah. My vote is going for that.
Okay.
Maybe we should look on YouTube and see if there's a video. People make weird things.
That's what I was going to say. Honestly, I'm afraid of what I might find.
So true.
I have Googled a lot of mermaid things, and every now and then I'm like, whoa, did not need that ever in my brain.
The eye cover, like,
Yes.
No. Ship no.
Gosh. I think it's time for a hashtag Jodi moment.
I was just thinking the same thing.
It's because I have mermaid telepathy.
What would that be called in the water? Like sonar telepathy?
Yeah, something.
Sure.
Yep.
Why not?
We will work on that.
Mm-hmm.
So, Lauren, do you have a Jodi moment that you're just all about these days?
Oh, well, I've been thinking about on the Little Mermaid movie a lot lately. And one of my, because you talked a little bit about the,
oh my gosh.
and I talked about the being 16 years old, I'm not a child.
Right.
The difference that phrase is now.
Yes.
I think the great thing about her voice in that film is that it carries so well from a speaking to a singing voice. There's not really a difference there. Like it's a perfect intro into her vocals.
Absolutely.
So whenever she starts to sing, it's not jarring.
Yeah. And there are some princesses, Disney princesses, who, it's not them. The vocal people are not the singing people.
Yeah.
There's two different people.
Yeah.
So
I think Aurora.
I'm pretty sure Jasmine.
I think Pocahontas was as well.
Oh, Pocahontas. I believe you're correct. We can fact check this later, but yeah, I think Jodi is kind of one of those people. Jodi Benson, for y'all who don't know, they're listening. Jodi Benson is the voice of the Little Mermaid, and we are always going to try and have a hashtag Jodi moment here on the podcast. But yeah, she's one of those, like, her voice is like the most graceful mermaidy voice, talking or speaking.
Yeah, and I have that same love for Paige O'Hara. Who plays Belle
yeah.
In The Beauty and the Beast. And she does the exact same thing, which is this kind of flawless speaking into singing voice. Yeah. And I don't know, there's some things to greatly appreciate about it, because I don't think I have it. Like, yeah, I think
me either. Yeah, not at all. Yeah, I'm with you there.
Mostly because I tend to fake sing a lot, so I put on this like opera voice.
Totally
insane.
But why wouldn't you? Yeah, definitely. It's an art to be able to, like, speak so lovely and also sing so lovely. Yeah. I also feel like
that, and she's the only person I know of who can say the word guppy and not sound like an idiot.
Totally. Don't be such a guppy.
A flounder.
Oh, gosh. I just love her. Well.
And this moment is brought to you by hashtag Jodi moment.
As she takes a sip of her tea in her mermaid mug, which, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see. If you're listening, you obviously can't see it, but you should go watch the YouTube version. Yeah.
So, we real cute.
You are. It's been a long day for this mermaid.
You look adorable. And you have Ariel on your shirt.
I do. I have Ariel on my shirt today. Love her.
Crush.
This is the shirt I wore on our trip to
I was just thinking
Disneyland.
We had I think it was a 2-year anniversary notification.
Yes.
On Facebook today. So I was living in LA and Abby came out. You were doing something. I think you might have been on vacation or visiting family.
Yeah. At the time, Ben's family was his brother was stationed out there. Mm-hmm.
And so she was like, hey, I am not doing anything on Monday and I'm in Los Angeles and I think we should have a Disney day.
Yeah.
So I called in sick to work and drove my flippity floppity tail end to Anaheim.
Yes.
And just managed to catch you in line to go see Jack Skellington. Who was a gem.
He was so great.
That was that's one of the best character interactions I've ever had.
Totally. He was so good.
So fun.
And that also, we vlogged about it, so you can go check that vlog out.
It's one of the earliest mermaid vlogs.
Totally. Yep. That was kind of right in the beginning. 2 years. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, it was so cute. I loved it. I watched that video more times than
it's so fun.
I'm proud of.
Disney is a tough Disney World, Disneyland. Growing up, I would go once a year for one day. As a kid, and like my parents, we would go to Florida for vacation, but we could only go to Disney one day. Like we never did any of that. later on I got to go more, but so, when Ben came into my life and we got married and stuff, I tried to incorporate him into this love for Disney World / Disneyland. And like without fail, he would get sick or fall asleep or like something crazy, like while we're there to where it was kind of a drag. Like, I mean, going with the family, I am just so used to it. Like, my dad is super into all that, and my mom is, like, whatever. But I feel like my family, my sister, like, we would all go, and it was, we all enjoyed ourselves. It was a long day, but at the end of the day, we were like, that was the best day.
Yes.
But with Ben, it was like pulling teeth, like, to get him to, like, have fun. Now, granted, we did take him on like the rock and roller coaster right after lunch. And,
that's a terrible idea.
Never again will we do that.
You go upside down many times on that roller coaster.
I mean, it didn't affect me. Like, I don't know. But
so anyway, we have a deep ingrained love for these things. So
it's true. All that to say, going to Disneyland with you is like I don't even know how to how to put it into words.
I can.
Okay.
I can do that. So I mean, my roommates liked Disneyland and would go with me, and we would have a good time. But here's my thing. There is nobody I can go to Disneyland with who will go see characters.
Yeah.
Like, we'll just go to see characters. Like, we'll go and do some rides because some of them are you have to do.
Yeah.
But I hadn't been just to see them. And that was like one of my goals, was to just go and see as many as humanly possible. And especially going during Halloween when you have so many that come out that aren't typically out. So hence Jack Skellington.
Right.
I don't remember if there's anybody else that we saw. Oh, Jafar.
Jafar,
you don't see all the time. Typically just in parades, I think. Oh, man, we just saw so many. Oh, and then my freak out over Fairy Godmother.
Fairy Godmother. That was hilarious.
I was not prepared.
You flipped out, man.
I did.
It was pretty great, actually.
I don't know. It was, I have no memory ever of meeting her before, and it was just this magical moment. She was just walking past, and she talked, and I didn't expect her to do that, and nearly dead faint at the wishing well.
Y'all really should watch the vlog. It's linked in the description.
Did we have any questions we were supposed to actually answer instead of going on a tangent about going to Disneyland?
Yes. Well, yeah, that all came from the Jodi moment. I don't know how.
Right.
But
Jodi will do that to you.
Okay. Well, so people asked us questions on Instagram, but I also want to make sure that y'all know you can download the Anchor app and send us voice messages that we can listen to and respond to right here, right now. So, so KM Robinson, she suggested, which we've discussed, but she suggested movies, talking about mermaid movies, mermaid books, etc. And mostly books, she said, because she's an author.
Oh.
So,
hey, if she's got one to send our way, I will happily read it. I'm a big reader.
I should get her to send you her series. I was just she just had a mermaid week this week, and I did a little mermaid interview with her for Mermaid Week, and so it's celebrating her new book series. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So KM Robinson, if you want to send us some of your bookies, we will gladly chat about them. And Lauren, I'm gonna put that on you because reading is difficult for me, or doing anything other than working is difficult.
I have noticed that.
Yeah,
I have zero problem sitting on my fins for extended periods of time with a book in my hand and nothing else happening.
Yeah.
Well, to go off of that, we are hoping to. We did just release. She Turned into Seafoam, I believe, is the name of the latest podcast. But it's not really a review, but just here is Hans Christian Andersen's version of The Little Mermaid, and you should know about it.
Totally.
But yeah, we want to do reviews of books, movies, TV shows featuring mermaids of pretty much any kind, because it's what this is pretty much all about.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, we're all about that life. Cam Robinson. Another person asked, what is a good mermaid diet and exercise regimen?
You are going to be able to answer that better than I.
And I will answer it as best I can. It's going to be different for everyone.
Yeah.
Now, whenever I was chatting with Hannah Mermaid, she said that she does a lot of yoga, mainly for spine flexibility, which I totally get that. For me, I've actually had a hip surgery and have had some very, like, the doctor was like basically telling me I needed a back surgery. And so yoga sometimes is too hard on my body. And so I like to do Pilates.
Yeah.
Reformer Pilates, because that is the only way that I can stay mobile and be kind to my joints and everything, because I'm just an old person when it comes to like my joints and stuff. So it is, whatever you can do to stay mobile is going to be the key. You don't have to, like, if you need to do cardio, the bike is great. And swimming just in general is a great way to get your cardio that's also very low impact. But as far as the like actual mermaid movement, having your spine be as flexible as possible is going to help you in the long run. And just having a strong core in general is going to help you be able to work all the junk that needs to be worked, because you use muscles that you'd like. I use muscles mermaiding that I don't use any other time.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. So yeah, I do a lot of Pilates, and Hannah Mermaid does a lot of yoga. It just kind of depends on what your body will allow. And quite honestly, like, eating wise, as soon as I swapped to the like whole foods, like just like lean proteins, just normal like whole carbs, like sweet potatoes, and not like like fast food or fried foods and stuff. Like, once I swapped to that, I mean, I lost 12 pounds in a month just by switching my diet to actual whole foods. And somebody helped me, my friend Fiona Cully Fitness. She's a nutrition consultant and a personal trainer. And so I'll link her info in the description. But I mean, she does online stuff. Like, she's great, and she created a meal plan for me. When I follow that, I mean, I feel like, I don't have to exercise that often. I do it to stay mobile and to honestly to keep my back from hurting. But when I eat properly, I don't have to exercise that much. And so eating is like 80% of it.
Yeah, I know, just from a personal standpoint. So a number of years ago, I was having some intestinal issues, and I went to my doctor, and she suggested a couple of things that she thought might be wrong, but then she asked me, how much soda do you drink? And at the time, I was like, I don't know, like a Coke a day, maybe, at least like one soft drink at least a day. And she was like, try and cut it back, and see what a difference that makes, because it's just not good for you.
Yeah.
And so I actually ended up cutting soda cold turkey and had a week of horrific caffeine.
Yeah, like headaches and stuff.
Headaches, because I wasn't drinking coffee at the time either.
Yeah,
I
girl.
am now.
Oh my gosh.
But I tell you what, there was a huge difference in a lot of things. My complexion got a whole lot better.
Inflammation and stuff.
Huge. I mean, I was drinking so much more water. And there was, and once I stopped having cravings for it, which, I mean, honestly, like full cravings probably took a year or two to completely get rid of, where I was, I'd have days where I was like, oh my gosh, I just really want like a cherry Coke right now. Those took a couple of years to truly go away. But once it was pretty much out of my system entirely, my energy levels really evened out as opposed to fluctuating drastically from those sugar highs and lows.
Right.
So I'm actually a big fan of suggesting that to anyone.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
know it's hard. It is so hard. But
Well, yeah, growing up, I mean, especially for us, we were 90s kids, like we were just fed sugar our whole lives. And so our bodies are addicted to sugar. Cutting out soda would be a great step because just one can of soda is more sugar than you're supposed to have in a day. So
probably more than you're supposed to have in 2.
Yeah, it's a lot of sugar in there. So yeah, cutting out sodas, drinking more water, just honestly eating whole foods, that's going to help you out and just help your energy levels and stuff. And you can always reach out to my girl Fiona Cully Fitness because she's super helpful. Yeah, that's it for the questions on Instagram. Thank you to everybody who sent those in, by the way. Those are fun and just like I want to know what y'all tell me what you want, what you really, really want, mermaids. So thank you guys for listening. If you want to send us voice messages, download the Anchor app and leave us a voice message. We will answer them all here as long as they are clean. You got to keep it clean, keep it classy. So yeah, thank you for listening and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, y'all.
All my